We're going to use a graphing utility to estimate a limit. As the limit of this function as x goes to 1, so you can see x is going really close to 1 on this side, on the underside, and then above 1 we're going down, getting closer and closer to 1. As that happens, what's happening to the y? Well, y is getting closer and closer to something from both sides. Kind of looks like y is getting closer and closer to 2, really. And you can see that that's true on the list here. And you can also see it from the graph. As x gets closer and closer to 1, right here, that's what it said, right? As x gets closer to 1. Yeah, as x gets closer to 1. From either side, from the positive or the negative side, what's happening to our graph? Well, it's up here, and then it's down here, but as it gets closer and closer to 1, it's right there, okay? From either side, it looks like it's getting really close to 2. So either graphically or from the table, it's getting close to 2. So we come down here and we say, okay, we're going to go look at this thing in a graphing utility. And I have it typed in Desmos here. And you can see what's happening let's see, let me take a screenshot of this real quick. Maybe. You can see what's happening. Our goal here is to find out what happens as x gets closer and closer to negative 1. So as x gets closer and closer to negative 1 from the right, well, what's happening to my graph? Well, it's coming down here. It's getting closer and closer to this area right here. It's never going to get there as far as our limit is concerned. And as we get closer and closer from the lower end of things, it's getting closer. It's the same point. It's kind of looking like that as far as my f of x, my y value. That's kind of what it looks like. But let's go ahead and we press this gear thing for the settings, maybe. No, we can't. Let me go back to the actual screen. There we go. We press the gear thing on Desmos, and it says edit. And we convert to a table here. We press that. And we say, well, you didn't get very close, Desmos, to negative 1. So let's get a little closer. Let's say, let's start on the negative side. We'll say, how about, we want this to work out for us. So we'll say negative 1.1. How about that? And then we'll say, let's get a little closer to negative 1. We'll say negative 0. How about that? That's even closer, right? And I mean, it's kind of arbitrary what I pick, but as long as I'm getting closer and closer to 1, you can see, maybe that's enough, on that side. And then on this side, we'll say, well, we'll start really close and we'll kind of go away from it. Oops, I forgot the negative sign. Oh, what did I just do? We'll start with a 0. I like the way the 0 looks better. And we'll say, okay, not so close. Maybe that was a little too close, so we'll say, okay. And then one more, we'll say, I like the 0. Just 9. That's pretty close, but not as close as those others. And you can see what's happening here. Same thing again. We'll say, as x gets closer and closer to negative 1, what's happening over here? Well, I'm getting closer and closer to something. And as x gets closer and closer from the more positive side, well, I'm getting closer and closer to the same thing. And you can see the points are grouped around here. When x is negative 1, I'm pretty sure I mean, it's not allowed to actually be negative 1, but we're getting really close to negative 2. So there we go.